This is Play It Forward, and Allison and the crew are in the house. Allison, are you there?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Play It Forward. You are listening to WUSB Stony Brook 90.1 and 107.3. Happy Friday, everyone.
Happy Friday.
All right, the weekend. Alongside of me is my co-host, Kurt. Momentarily, we will introduce a returning and very special guest, Wes. Wes came on our show a year and a half ago, courageously sharing his story of addiction and recovery. We were sad to hear he had relapsed shortly after that. Not too long ago, we discovered he's back into recovery and he's been clean for almost a year now. So congratulations, Wes. We're going to catch up with you in a bit.
Thank you.
Here's Kurt to tell you a little bit about what Play It Forward is all about.
Good afternoon, everybody. Before I get into anything, I want to let you guys know that we will have a table coming up this Sunday at the Michael Senna Run for Hope, and that is starting at 9 a.m. at the Deer Park High School. And I'll be there with a table and some information about the Play It Forward project, so we would love if everybody came and stopped by and said hi. And the Play It Forward project is a nonprofit that raises awareness, educates, and advocates in the fight against the opioid crisis, focusing on prevention and recovery through peer-to-peer advocacy. On our show, we bring in guests from the field of addiction, people in recovery, and more. We discuss illicit drugs, fentanyl, and substance use disorder, and towards 2 p.m., we shout out some accessible resources. We broadcast from Stony Brook University's radio station live every other Friday from 1 to 2 p.m., and we are now streaming our previous episodes on Spotify and Apple Podcasts under Play It Forward, as well as on our YouTube channel at the Play It Forward Project, where you can listen to our previous shows on the go. Please follow us on Instagram at sbu.playitforward. We'd love to hear from you, so please reach out to us. We are also a club on campus, so for all of you Stony Brook students that are tuning in right now, maybe you're looking to join a club, maybe you're looking to get involved, and we encourage you to seek us out.
Yeah. Join the club. Join Play It Forward Project Club. So I'm very excited to have Wes back with us.
Yeah, I'm excited.
See, I think it was in April of 2023, so a year and a half ago. And so tell our listeners, let's catch up. How have you been?
I've been doing great. I've been doing actually really good. The struggle is still real. It's never going to end.
Yeah.
You're always going to be struggling, but I'm sober, so that's a really good thing. And
It's a great thing.
Yeah, it makes life a lot easier when you're sober. It can always be worse. You can always be using. It can just be bad. It can be a lot worse. But right now I'm working. I'm actually supporting myself for once in my life, and not having people support my life for me, or it's
supporting it through working, not through hustling on the side of the road.
Yeah, exactly. Actually making my own money legitimately, and not, begging people for money or robbing, stealing, whatever I was doing when I was out in the streets.
Yeah.
So,
Actually, do you remember when I saw you?
Yeah, no, I do. I was in Port Jeff. I was in front of the shop, right, panhandling at the corner.
Yeah, with a sign.
I was holding up a sign. I was trying to make money. This is after I left Hope House. I relapsed the day I left there.
Yeah, hang on. So let's rewind a little bit. You were on the show. You were at Hope House. When did you get into Hope House first? If you were on in
3
April,
months
then you
in.
were probably.
I was there.
January.
I got in at the end of December, early January. I'd say around there.
So you were with us for
8
a
months.
little bit, 8 months. Yeah, right. Yeah, decent amount of time. You were on the show. You were doing well. And then what happened?
It's really hard to say. I guess I kind of just wasn't ready to get sober. I kind of kept thinking like there was something else out there for me. I kept wanting to go back to my old life. I learned how to live that way for so long. It was like, anything new I didn't like. I didn't like new. I didn't like change.
Was it the freedom that you had? Like, because in a sense, I think that like when you're homeless, when you're on the streets,
Yeah.
there is, you don't have to answer anybody. You don't have to follow any rules. You kind of just do your own thing.
Exactly, and that's kind of what I missed. I kind of missed just doing what I wanted to do and not being told what to do, not being on a schedule.
Not having to ask to use the bathroom.
Yeah, not having to ask to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
It's little things like that. Don't get me wrong, Hope House was great. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
The things they do there is awesome. It was just after 8 months of the same repetitive stuff, I felt like I was felt something. I just felt like I had something missing, like this void I wanted to fill. So, me.
Did you think you had it? You think like, oh, I'm good, I'll be fine?
In the beginning, yeah, I thought everything was going to be okay.
Yeah.
And then I kind of got to a point where, I started waking up in the morning and I just thought I was missing something. I had a feeling, this constant feeling that I was missing something.
It's wild.
And it's like, your brain will play tricks on you. Even though everything was telling me to stay there, I didn't want to stay there.
Right.
I wanted out. Ultimately, I wanted to go get high again.
Right.
Really, what I wanted to do. And
you didn't want to admit that to yourself.
I didn't, though. I didn't, because I was doing so well, and I didn't want to admit that to myself. And it was just difficult for me to. It's so hard to explain the way I was feeling in that situation. It was just I needed to do something different.
Yeah, you needed to go out and you needed to either fall on your face.
I wanted to be free again. I didn't want to actually be, told what to do or just,
And that's hard. I mean, when you haven't really lived that way before and you've been living on the street doing your own thing, to walk into an environment with 40 other guys who all have their own personalities and their whatever stuff going on.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
And it's definitely not, but like between your kind of thing, because I remember I told you guys last time I've been arrested, I'd been to jail, but the only thing with jail is I couldn't leave jail. I was forced to stay there.
Yeah.
And if I acted up, I was afraid that the COs would,
put the
beat me
paper
up.
down, because you're making noise over here. Yeah,
and,
you're making too much noise.
It's just like, Hope House, ultimately I look back at it and it did do a lot for me, because if I didn't...
It planted a seed, if
did.
anything,
It did. I remember I was... the day before I went into St. Charles Rehab, and my ultimate goal was to get to Hope House, and I did. And I was so bad before I went into that rehab facility. I mean, like I probably had no joke, I probably had like a month left, or they would have found me overdosed, or I wasn't eating. I was so unhealthy and malnourished. I had multiple infections, abscesses. I had, I was just filthy. I was on the streets.
You were just broken too. You were just a mess.
I was not doing good. And, right now, for me to actually end up leaving Hope House, I did some stupid things.
Well, yeah,
on my
so
way
let's
out.
talk. Yeah, let's talk about, let's just get into all of it.
Yeah, okay.
So you come on the show, and how long after when you were on the show, do you remember? When I think you left Hope
If
House?
you were here for 3 months and you were with us for 8, then so 5 months after that.
Yeah, it was about 5 months. I would say like maybe early July, somewhere around there. I did some stupid things and I got kicked out. I actually stole some money from Hope House because my body kept telling me I wanted to get high and I needed to get money to do it. And, there was no money, so you know what I did. That's what I know. Yeah. I did what I know. I
where there's money and I'm going to take it.
Yeah, exactly. And not only that, I was just doing stupid stuff with people outside of Hope House, women, and just, stupid things I shouldn't have done to get in trouble. I was doing anything I can to get out of myself and not feel what I wanted to, what I was feeling. And everyone kept telling me, oh, it's part of recovery. Everyone gets this pink cloud over you, a certain amount of months in, and you feel like you're not going to make it. And everyone said the same thing, and I just didn't want to hear it. Yeah. I didn't want to listen to them, so I did my own thing. And, I got kicked out, and the first thing I did was go right to my dealer's house.
Right.
And I relapsed within an hour of getting kicked out of Hope House. And and I used the money I stole from Hope House. Now I look back and I feel like the biggest dirtbag, but it's
dude, that's addiction. That's what we do, though.
Yeah.
That's what our disease tells us is we're uncomfortable. We need to the one thing that we know will take us out of ourselves. We're going to run right back to that.
Exactly.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
I will never forget when I saw you with that sign.
Oh, I was doing horrible.
Oh man, yeah. I pulled over. I remember talking with you. And literally begging you go back. You were doing so well, and for the longest time after that, we just didn't hear from you, and we were so worried about you, and always asking Kurt about you. But then we find out.
Yeah.
You're.
So how long was that run though? I mean, if you
maybe
July,
like
August,
4.5 months.
Yeah, then because you went right to like December,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was right before Christmas. I'm with my new
Did you
girlfriend.
overdose at all?
No, I was actually very close. I was in the park in Port Jeff, and I was taking Xanax, and I was, shooting heroin. And she's sitting next to me right now, my girlfriend Jen. She found me, and I was almost not breathing,
Yeah.
and she kind of had to like slap me to get me awake a little
Yeah.
bit. That was the closest I came to actually dying, and I've been in that situation before. It's crazy to say, multiple times. And it doesn't scare you enough. You just it's not, you think, oh, a near-death experience.
It comes with the territory. You just kind of get used to
You
it.
get used to it, and
Yeah.
it's bizarre. It's like, oh, I'm kind of used to dying. It's just so crazy to think about. But
Did you encounter fentanyl?
all the time.
Okay.
Fentanyl's in everything. That's
Right.
it. You think you're buying heroin, but you're buying fentanyl.
And you had obviously a tolerance then for fentanyl.
Oh yeah, I built up a tolerance, and every dollar I was making, I wasn't eating. I lost like 50 pounds in a matter of 3 weeks. It was bad, and it wasn't even so much the heroin; it was the crack this time that really got me. It was not. I didn't. Yeah, I was doing the heroin, but not as bad as I used to. It was.
So you switched.
Yeah.
Your drug of choice?
Yeah, I did. I switched my drug of choice, and it was every day running around just to get the next hit. It was like.
And you probably didn't even
disastrous.
feel good while you were using. I mean, you just never feel good.
I was a physical and emotional disaster. I was just. It was horrible.
Well, and then
Absolutely
like you
horrible.
add on to that, you feel like crap about leaving Hope House and stealing and
And
stuff.
every time I
you
thought
know,
about
it's
that,
like,
I just like, let's just get high. you know?
Yeah.
That'll
Like
fix
I'm
the
out
problem.
here, right.
Yeah.
So you did that for a while, and then what was the turning point for you then, or at the end of that, I should say? What made you decide? Did you just kind of get sick of doing it? It was winter time.
I ended up meeting Jen. Like I said, she's sitting next to me right now, and we were both getting high together for a while. Drinking, the whole 9 yards, living on the street. And she eventually just looked at me one day, and she's like, "We can't do this anymore. Like, we literally just can't do this anymore. We have no money. We both have no jobs. We have family that loves us. Like, why are we doing this to ourselves?" And I kept promising her, oh, I'm going to get on Suboxone, I'm going to stop doing dope, and I was sneaking around her back, and I was still doing it, and I was spending up all our money that we couldn't, even though I was panhandling to make this money, I could have been taking this money and put a roof over our head, staying in a motel for the night, not being out in the rain, not being out in the snow.
Right.
And it eventually got to a point where we just both stopped, and I actually I got Suboxone from my doctor. And I ended up taking my Suboxone too soon and went into precipitated withdrawal.
Oh,
it was
that's
so
the
bad.
worst.
I got violent.
Yep.
I went to the hospital. I thought I was gonna die.
Yep.
I thought I've never had such a worst feeling in my entire life. That was by far the worst I've ever felt.
Yep.
And that was enough to, believe it or not. I've almost died multiple times, and that wasn't enough to scare me. But that precipitated withdrawal, that scared me so much. I never wanted to feel that way ever again. It was
that
so
happened to me
bad.
one time, and that was the last time I ever went
Wow.
through detox or anything, and that was the worst feeling in my
Well,
maybe
maybe this should be
God.
part of the process.
The
Yeah,
requirement.
it's, and I went to the hospital, and they, they gave me some benzos to calm me down and did whatever they did. And when I got out, I started taking my Suboxone as prescribed. In the beginning, I'm not going to lie, I overdid the Suboxone, but it was just because I was still kicking. I didn't want to, I wanted to get that feeling out of me. But after like the first 2 weeks, I was taking my Suboxone as prescribed, and actually last month they just lowered me down a dose because I've been taking it so well, and I haven't been taking as much.
Yeah.
By the time I go to my doctor and go to get my next script, I can't because I still have some left. You know what I mean?
Cool.
So the doctor's like, he's doing really good. Let's lower him down.
Good.
And,
And that was something that you wanted to when you were in Hope House and you were on Suboxone, you wanted to start working your way.
Yeah, 'cause
tapering
it
off.
messes with the way I sleep.
Yeah.
too. I don't sleep as well at night. So ever since I lowered myself one dose, I've been doing great. I've been sleeping a lot better.
Well, and there's so many different fields of thought on it as to whether, this is a long-term solution, a temporary solution. And my take, and this is just my personal take, is like it's a great tool that you can use,
get
but
sober.
you should try to work
get
your way
off of it. Yeah,
You
because
don't
it can
want to
turn into anything else. You can get addicted to Suboxone.
100%.
Yeah.
I know people that are on it for 7 years. They're still
Yeah.
taking it. And I'm like,
Yep.
well, like, what are you actually doing here? You
Yeah.
know, and maybe that's the best quality of life that they can get, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I still think that it's a
Yeah.
great thing for people to use temporarily, get your feet underneath you, and then
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. No, I agree.
Yeah.
And I think the Suboxone's a little bit better because, I mean, you can go to methadone clinics, but you can still get high while taking methadone.
And
it's
the
horrible.
methadone, coming off methadone is
It's
the
the worst
thing
So, you know,
ever.
I recommend if you're going to get sober, you know, definitely have some type of treatment in the beginning, but work your way down.
Yeah.
Get off of it.
I came off methadone one time and in detox, and I think they sent me home like on 25 milligrams or something with nothing.
Yeah.
With nothing after that. That was the sick. I've never been that sick before in my life.
Absolutely
like
horrible.
Even just cold turkeying off of dope, I haven't been that sick.
Yep.
That was horrendous.
Yeah.
And what about crack cocaine? Was that hard to? I mean,
Oh God, that's a whole nother.
It's a whole other beast,
itself.
right?
Yeah, it really is.
It's a different kind of withdrawal.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of a emotional and mental withdrawal rather than a physical withdrawal. Your brain tells you need it.
Very compulsive.
Constantly, very, very compulsive. It's not like heroin, which is a physical withdrawal. The crack cocaine is just it's a whole nother demon. You know, it takes hold of you and it does not want to let go.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've known people that have had thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars and spent everything they ever owned, sold their houses, sold their cars. It's bad. Yeah. And you hear heroin addicts doing that sometimes, but it's like it's totally different.
It's a little bit slower too, I think.
Yeah, it's a much slower, and you could spend $10,000 in one night on crack.
Yeah.
You take one hit after one hit.
Yeah.
It's never ending.
Yeah.
And you go days without sleep, and it's like
really bad paranoia.
Paranoia, it's not good. It's all around us. It's horrible.
Oh, really congratulations on your sobriety, and we're so happy to see you. You look so
great.
Healthy and great, and
it feels good to actually be working again. That's something I always wanted to do for a while,
So I want to talk a little bit about the process that you went through. Though you got on the Suboxone, and then what did the next month or two look like? Like what were you doing? You were so you go from on the street to
a lot of depression.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
After coming off of drugs, you deal with that depression for a couple months before your mind gets right again. I was kind of moping around.
But what kept you from not going back out? I mean, like because you and I were talking on the way over here, and you're not doing meetings, which is fine. I'm not saying this in a critical way, but like you don't have like a huge support, and I think that's kind of the piece that I want to highlight today for our listeners is getting sober without a big support group, right? Or network, whatever you want to call it. Like, what was it that kept you going and not going back to picking up? Even just like you could have smoked crack while you're on the Suboxone.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if you did or not. I mean,
no. I mean, maybe in the beginning once while I was, but no. After that, right before Christmas is when I got sober, and I have almost a year now. But what kept me going was the fact that I met Jen. That really helped a lot because we got clean together. When you get clean with someone, it's like I was literally living on the streets with her, and now we're actually, we got clean. That was the first step, and we both got jobs. That was the second step. And you kind of just gotta put the big picture in your head. You can't think about all the bad stuff you've done in the past. You can't. It's the way I did it is very hard actually, without no type of support group.
I mean, it's wild,
Yeah, no, it's insane. I didn't think I can do it. I've heard of stories of people doing it, and now here I am actually doing it myself.
Right.
You gotta just put the bigger picture in the back of your mind. You can't worry about everything you've done in the past. You can't think about the drugs. Like every day I work 5 days a week, so almost every day I take the bus and I go through Corn Plaza, and everyone knows how Corn Plaza is. Everyone knows how Corn is. There's a lot of crackheads, a lot of heroin addicts. Every single day I see the drugs, and it just doesn't. It's not something I want to do. I can stare right at them. Yeah, I'll get that warm fuzzy feeling. I'll want to do it in the back of my head, but I'm not going to. I got to a point where I'm comfortable in my own skin. That's what you gotta.
Good for you.
You gotta actually just get comfortable in your own body, and you gotta you gotta just fight the demons every day. Don't get me wrong. It is so hard.
Yeah,
it is hard. But, it's very possible. You can do it.
Right.
So you put the mental work in every day.
That's what it is. There's not much physical work at all anymore. It's all mental.
Right. Right.
And don't get me wrong, I've even been talking to Jen about this lately. I was thinking about going back to some meetings. And
something.
Because you've heard of people doing it the way I'm doing. Everything's going good, and then one day it happens again. You relapse. And I want to get to the point where I'm strong like you. You got what, like 7 years sober?
8 years
sober.
Yeah.
That's where I want to be one day. So.
Well, and I'll just speak for myself. Like the thing that I've done for these last 8 years is I just keep trying different stuff, and and stacking on top of what I have. have, you know?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
like, you did this for the last year. Implement something else. Try
Yeah.
something else new.
Yeah.
You know, there's not one path to where we're going,
Yeah.
wherever where that is. You know, you got to try everything until you find something that works. And this is great
Yeah.
that this has been working. But if
Yeah.
you feel like you need to add something in,
Definitely
now's the
add it.
time to add something
Yeah.
in before you wind up going, oh, man, I wish I had a couple
Yeah.
months ago, you
Yeah.
know? So
You
that's
wanna-
good that you're thinking about that,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah. It's funny you brought it up earlier because I'm thinking about getting back into maybe AA or NA,
Yeah.
and you know, not every day means
No.
you know, just a couple
so you
times
get-
a week
just so you
and
get
build
that
a support group.
You know, that's what it is,
Have a
man.
couple
That
phone numbers.
connectedness is,
Or even-
that's the key to it, you
Yeah,
know?
100%.
Yeah.
Even a dopey Zoom recovery meeting.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
should turn him
something
on to
just
that.
you know, talk to other people about your addiction and what you're thinking that day. It doesn't even have to be about drugs. I used
Right.
to go to AA meetings and just tell them how I was feeling.
Right.
You know, you talk to someone and they'll help you.
Yep.
That's what's good about those rooms. Everyone in those rooms are just about willing to help you.
Right, right.
You want to keep bettering yourself. You know, right? I mean,
yeah, of course.
Just doing things that are healthy for you, like
Yeah.
you know, getting back to the gym and getting that natural high.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
from
yeah, yeah.
getting that dopamine
Definitely.
from working out.
That's like when I got hired to this job. It took me, you know, due to my background and
Right,
having, you
right.
know, it is hard.
Well, yeah, so talk about that a little bit.
It's hard in New York State to get a job if you're a convicted felon or
Right.
or people if you're trying to get a job in a certain area where you were homeless and a lot of people know you, they're not going to want to hire you.
Yeah.
It's rough. It took me at least 10 maybe more job interviews before I even had one that offered me a job.
They gave you a chance.
Yeah, they gave me a chance. You know, she saw how good of a worker I am. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not a great job. I work at Taco Bell, and I'm actually
But
very
it's a
proud
job.
of
But
it.
it's a
you know?
job.
And that's
I'm proud
what,
of it.
yeah, don't knock
I am.
that, you know?
Oh.
You know,
yeah.
and I made manager in 2.5 months from someone that's never even worked fast food
Yeah,
before.
dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's great.
yeah. So you know, I enjoy it. My coworkers are awesome. You know, I'm actually kind of learning some Spanish because I work with
Cool.
a ton of Spanish.
Oh,
people.
wow.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And you know, it's keeping a roof over my head right now.
Right, dude,
So I'm
right.
happy about that.
That's
and
so great.
I can always learn different things, and you know, it's just where life has taken me today. I didn't think I would be
Right.
here, and I said that last time I was on the show because I didn't think, you know, I would be in Hope House. I'd be sober, and everything would be going great. But you know, just don't. You know, you can't get too carried away because, like, I didn't think I was going to relapse. When I was on the show, I left here feeling
Oh,
the
I
biggest
know.
natural high. You know,
You
I
were
never
my,
thought
you
I
were
was
my
going to relapse.
superstar. I was showing you
Yeah.
off to everybody. I'm like, look at this guy. He's off the street. He's doing so great. He's
Yeah.
got it all figured out. And I mean, and
Yeah.
that's, you know,
It happens, though.
It does. It totally does. Dude, I could go out tomorrow. You know, I could be sitting here. I could go out tomorrow. You know.
Yeah.
I cried after I saw you
Yeah,
on the
no,
street.
yeah.
That
It was
was
rough.
really. I mean, but
Yeah.
I'm when Kurt said you're coming back.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
that was just the best news.
But this is a good pause point because we're gonna do our mid wrap, and then I want to come back and we'll talk about what work is like, how you're trying to keep a roof over your head, and that
Yeah.
struggle, because I think
Yeah.
that's something that people can hear about. Yeah. So please support
we're gonna
our.
have a mid wrap, and Kurt's
What?
gonna talk about
Yeah.
our radiothon.
Yes. We're going to do the mid-wrap right now. So please support our radiothon here at WUSB Stony Brook. Our volunteer student-led radio station is 24/7 because of people like you. Thank you for your donations and continued support. Your donations keep us on the air and in your ears. You can donate on the website, that's a lot of W's, www.wusb.fm, or call 631-632-6901 or 1-888-632-9872 to pledge your donation. Thank you so much for your support. By now, almost everyone knows someone who has died this way. We must remember that these deaths are preventable. And by die this way, we mean fentanyl deaths, overdoses, poisonings. Each one of us has the power to make a difference. To all parents listening, we understand these conversations can be challenging, but do not fool yourself into thinking, not my kid. Let's equip ourselves with knowledge, resources, and empathy for these crucial discussions. And your words and support can be life-changing.
Yeah.
So we're going to play a song for Wes.
Actually, yeah, I'm excited to play this song for Wes because this was the song he played last time.
Yes.
And this song helped you through some hard times.
It definitely did.
So, hey, why don't you introduce it, Wes? Introduce the song.
All right, this
Take it
song's going
away.
to be Otherside by Macklemore.
All right, thank you. We will be right back with our special guest, Wes. You are listening to WUSB Stony Brook 90.1 and 107.3 FM. We'll be right back.
Chad Butler, known as Pimp C, died in a Los Angeles hotel room. The LA County Coroner's Office ruled the rapper's death accidental and attributed to a combination.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to Play It Forward. I'm Allison. You are listening to WUSB Stony Brook, 90.1 and 107.3 FM. We're so happy to have Wes back with us. He's celebrating almost a year of recovery.
It's awesome.
And let's pick up where we left off.
Yeah, so you were talking about you have a job at Taco Bell now, right? And you are a manager, or you're about to become a manager?
No, I am a manager.
You are, okay.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so let's talk about your living situation, because I think that's unique. What am I trying to say here? I'd never heard of that. I never heard of what you're doing.
Yeah.
So
no, it's
Are other people doing it? We'll talk about what it is first. I get ahead of
what's
myself.
going on?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
First, when I got out of Hope House, I was living in a motels, and
Right.
the rate for motels in New York is absolutely
It's insane.
It's $150 a night for a motel.
Right.
I mean, and this is like a roach-infested motel, like the slum of the slum. It's and it's expensive. So you know, my girlfriend kept telling me about Airbnbs, and you can get, you know, rooms for cheaper there, and you get monthly prices. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is still really expensive, but it's actually just enough for where me and her can, you know, use my paycheck and a little bit of hers, and we can rent it out for a week or two, and that's how we've been living for like the last, I don't know, I'd say 6 months. It's been a while, and
the reason you're doing this is because you can't save enough to get a down payment for an apartment, because as you're trying to save for it, you're going to be living on the street because you got to live somewhere,
it's
and
impossible.
you got to. So it's kind of like a whole shuffle that you're doing.
Yeah, it's like every time I try to save a couple dollars, it ends up, you know, like you know, our regular Airbnbs won't be open. We pay like $70 a night for the rooms, and next thing you know, we got to go to a place that's $100 a night, and that's, you know, you 7 times that's 20. That's an extra $210 a week. I don't make a lot of money. I make like $600 a week, so it's hard for me to even keep a roof over my head right now.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it's working, and we're just getting by, but I am dead broke. I have absolutely no money at all. And it sucks because I feel like I'm working, and I got no money to show for it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Oh, but you have recovery to show for it, so that's really...
Well, yeah, and I mean that's all well and good, but like if you're doing this constant rat race kind of circle of like, you know, that's
also not good for your recovery
taxing.
either.
Right, yeah.
You know, I constantly stress about this because you know, up until recently, I had a friend help me out a little bit here and there too, pay for my Airbnbs, and she no longer can help me. So it's like, you know, 1 or 2 nights a week, it's gonna be really hard. I have this fear now that I'm gonna go back on the streets, and it's crazy because I used to live years on the streets, and it didn't bother me. Now I have the biggest fear of going back.
Well, because you've accomplished something now, and you know you're
living
a
better.
better life.
Yeah. Do you have to move? You have to move a lot then.
Yeah, we try not to. We try, you know, renting the Airbnb at least per week, so I can move, you know, maybe once or twice a month.
But even that instability that's got to present some. I mean, I would be a little bummed out if I'm constantly kind of shuffling around and jumping from place to place.
Yeah,
you don't have a home base, so to say. You don't really have a home.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah.
No, it really is, and especially because, you know, I work overnights, and then, you know, the check out in the mornings like 10 a.m. So, you know, I barely get any sleep. Then I have to check out, carry all my stuff with me, go to the next Airbnb spot. It's difficult, and you know, in New York State, I can't even find a bedroom right now for less than $1,000. It is just crazy. It's so expensive.
Yep. And you don't have a car.
No car.
So you have to take an Uber. So you're living in Ronkonkoma right now.
Working in Ridge.
And working in Ridge.
Yeah.
So you got to take an Uber back and forth. And, Or you take a bus there.
Take the bus there,
because
and then
you work
at night,
overnight.
Yeah. And that adds up too. Half the time I don't even have the money. So, you know, I ask friends for rides, and you know, I try.
I give you a lot of credit to be able
hard.
to stay sober, and you know, because I think that you have a better life in front of you, even
I definitely
better.
do.
Can I ask, how old are you now?
Right now I'm 28. Just turned 28 in August.
You're so young.
Little big boy.
You see yourself with a family one day?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. No, I definitely do.
But we got to figure out this living situation before
Yeah.
we get to a family, you know? And that's what, like, dude, I'm so proud of you. I love that you're sitting here with us again. It's great. But, I got to say, man, I'm worried. And I kind of talked about this with you already.
Yeah,
but,
of course.
I really want you to try to get some kind of program, especially hearing how stressful this is, because I can't even imagine that. We got to figure something out, though. So if anybody's listening and they have any suggestions for Wes, please don't hesitate to reach out to us at sbu.playitforward on Instagram. Let us know what you think of him. If you have any advice for him, if you have any solutions for him, he'd appreciate it. We'd love to hear from you.
100%.
Well, I was going to ask you what advice would you give to somebody that is on the fence of, like, so sick of being sick and tired and on drugs, but they want recovery? What advice would you give to them now?
You just got to reach out and grab it. If you're not ready to get sober, you're not ready to get sober. And I done that a million times for myself. You got to be ready and you got to be willing. They say in the rooms you got to be willing and able, and it's true. You have to be. If you're not willing to get sober, you're not going to get sober. It's not. You can't just snap your fingers and it's not just going to happen. You got to want to have a better life. If you don't want to have a better life, you're going to keep doing what you're doing. And even if you feel like you can't get sober, you can.
Do you think it comes from a certain degree, like a certain amount of suffering, though? Like, do you believe in that? Like, you got to go through enough suffering.
You gotta hit rock bottom before you work your way back up. You have to. It's not like, because then if you don't hit rock bottom, you're gonna keep thinking, I can get high, I can live a normal life.
But how was before you got to Hope House not your rock bottom?
No, it definitely was my rock bottom. It had to have been.
But then you went back out again.
I guess the rock bottom got worse.
right. You hit rock bottom and kept digging. Yeah.
It was just, and it happens like that, But I would say, before I went to Hope House, that was probably the worst point in my life.
Right.
And when I went back out, it was a short run, but I mean, it was
just had to test the waters again. Make sure it's really that bad.
No, it is. I went back out for a couple months and I absolutely hated it.
Right.
Like like I did in the beginning. It doesn't get any. If you're out there and you're using and you hear this right now, do not. And I'm telling you this, don't think your life's going to get better while you're using. Don't think you can manage it. Don't think, I could just do a shot in the morning and smoke a little bit at night and still have money and live a normal life. It is not possible.
No. It might be for a little bit.
It might work for you, a few months, even a couple years if you got a decent job, but your life will go down the tubes. And it is guaranteed. You got to seek help. You're going to have to want it. And you got to just reach out and ask for help. It's that easy. Ask someone for help. Go to a detox center. Go to a rehab center. Reach out to Hope House. Reach out to any of these programs that are on Long Island, and you can get help.
Right. Yeah. And so how are you, because you're on Suboxone, right? So talk a little bit about that. And
I think the Suboxone maintenance is great. I really do. It's a good beginner medication, to get off and start getting on the right track.
Yeah.
And I totally am a firm believer in, don't take medication if you don't need it.
Right.
So if you get to a point where you don't need to take the Suboxone anymore, start weaning yourself off, because that can become just as addicting as the heroin and the crack. And, it's doing the same thing. It's filling those receptors in your brain, the receptors that you want filled because you want your fix. It's the same exact thing. You're just taking it legally by prescription.
And did you have trouble finding a doctor? Did you have...
No, it's really easy. And any of the Sun River Healths on Long Island, they'll help you out. If you give them a urine and your urine is dirty for opiates, they'll put you on a Suboxone maintenance and they'll help you. They will definitely help you.
Okay.
And they're not strict on it nowadays because there's so many people going in with fentanyl in their system and heroin in their system. They want people to get off this stuff.
Right,
so,
right.
It used to be a lot more strict, but now it's easy. And like I said, you just gotta be careful with it though, because you can get hooked on that just as much as you can get hooked on heroin.
Right, because it is just a substitute.
And,
it's a legal substitute. If you will.
Yeah.
Wow.
Are you still in touch with your family?
Yeah.
How's your relationship with them?
It's great. My mom's probably listening to this right now. Shout out to my mom. I love you, Mom. Yeah, and my dad, he's getting back up on his feet. They went through a pretty rough time. They were addicts as well, and they're sober now. They're both clean and sober. Wow. And my dad's working. They got a spot. They got a roof over their heads right now. It's not great. They're kind of in the same position I am, but they're living and they got a roof over their head, so it's pretty good.
Do you think that there's any kind of solution to this? What would you like to see happen that would make it easier for people that are in your position?
That's a good question.
Yeah, that is a good question.
Like assisted programs, or like, is there something like that? You know, like what about, can you guys go to a shelter? Could you guys go to a shelter and work and save money? I mean, you were telling me about somebody you work with though, that they're taking big money,
and that's the problem too. You can't go to DSS, and that they will help you, but I mean, if you're not, like, they won't take my girlfriend. They'll seclude me to a men's shelter. They'll put her into a women's shelter. And not only that, they'll give you food stamps, but even with the amount of money I'm making at Taco Bell right now, they might not even give me food stamps. And it's crazy because every week I don't even have money for food. You know, I put everything into these Airbnbs so I have a roof over my head.
Right.
And
You're eating a lot of tacos?
Yeah, eating a ton of Taco Bell. You know, I get free Taco Bell, so that's why I'm 100 pounds heavier right now. But it's that's a good question though. That's a difficult one to answer. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, think about it. It's kind of a hard on-the-spot question. So for right now, you're doing the Airbnb thing. You're doing Taco Bell. Do you have any? Are you just going to stick with that for a while?
No, I need something better.
Okay.
100%. I barely have money in my pocket right now as is. I got to find a better job. I'm willing to work. That's not the problem. My work ethic's great, and the way I look at it is, it doesn't matter if you work at Taco Bell or on Wall Street. If you have a good work ethic, people should want to hire you. And it's sad because it's not that way nowadays. Everything's based upon your background check. Your appearing. Everything is just different than it used to be. You used to be able to tell someone you're a hard worker and get a job,
right?
And it's not like that anymore.
Right.
You gotta go through all these loopholes, and it's like, and for me, someone that's been, in institutions and to jail, and I don't have the cleanest record, but I am a hard worker. I do, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating to find a good job nowadays,
right?
Especially if you've been in the position I've been in, an addict, and you've had the run-ins with the law and stuff like that. Like me, I haven't had a run-in with the law in 5 years. I haven't even had so much as a ticket. I haven't drove. I haven't done nothing.
Right.
And it still pops right up when they do the background check, and they'll tell me, oh yeah, they give me, the welcoming papers and everything, and when I go to to look for a job, and I get welcomed and everything, and once that background check comes in, they're like, oh, sorry, we don't need you. It's
that must be so discouraging.
And it's not like I'm not a violent, I do have a felony. I'm not a violent felon at all. I have no violent crimes. I have nothing like that. I'm not a violent person.
Is this for the 22 I'm sorry.
It's when I stole a vehicle, and I caught a grand larceny charge, and in New York State, a grand larceny in the second equals out to a felony. So now I have a C felony.
It's an amusing story. You want to tell the story?
What an amusing story.
Yeah.
It
Hope
really
you're listening, Dopey.
Yeah. It's kind of stupid. I told it last time. One day I was dope sick, and I got my hands on a bunch of Xanax, and I was drinking, and I got whacked out of my head. I barely even remember doing this, but I was in Bohemia, and there's a 76 gas station in Bohemia, and there was one of these big rigs, the oil tankers that deliver gas to the gas stations, the big tractor trailers, and it was an automatic. It was a 2019 Peterbilt, and I stole it. And I thought, I can get a ride to go see my heroin dealer, or, and I ended up leading the cops on this wild chase into Selden, and, they had helicopters and dogs after me.
Helicopters?
And I did something, it's something stupid, and I look back and I laugh every time I tell this story, because it was just, it was spontaneous, and I just wanted my fix, and that's how crazy it is that you'll do just about anything to get it. Yeah. And, it's just, it's. Yeah, it's a funny story.
Yeah, that's a really big vehicle.
But, it's like, now that one stupid mistake is stopping me from getting good jobs. It's stopping me from doing a lot of things. And it's like, you can't go back and change it. You kind of just got to live with it.
But it's unfortunate that even though you like you said, it's been 5 years since you did anything, you've been living a clean, sober life for the last year, that there isn't some kind of program that you can get into, or something where people go, oh, you know what, look at the last year of his life, look at the last 5 years, there hasn't been anything. We should be able to give this person a chance.
Nothing that I know about. I kind of had to go out on my own and help. I wish there was programs like that, someone that can give you a list of jobs that you can possibly get into, having felonies on your record, and places that will actually hire you. It's one thing to say they will hire you, but then when you go there, they don't end up hiring you. I've had plenty of them that said, if you've had a record, we accept people, records, and it's I think, I don't know, it's difficult.
Well, and it's corporations with all their red tape, BS,
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
and they're worried about their image or liability or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, stick it to the little man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, I wasn't in my right mind back then. Now I'm in my right mind, and I want to do something with my life and get a decent job, and it's almost impossible.
Right.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
Don't give up.
No, definitely
give
not.
up.
Every day's a fight. You got to keep fighting the fight. That's all you got to do,
So I'm thinking about when you got clean the first time, and then the second time. Both happened in December. Was it? Is that just a coincidence, or what is it about December?
Getting cold out.
Right.
You don't want to be on the
Yeah, I
street.
guess so.
That has a big part to do with
I'm
it.
sure. Yeah, I guess that was a dumb question, but it also the holidays coming up too, right?
Yeah, and you kind of get like this antsy feeling. I don't know. Maybe Kurt knows what I'm talking about. Around the holidays, if you're an
for
addict,
sure.
it's like. You look back when you were a kid and you used to have these great holidays with your parents and you used to have everything, all the Christmas, all the presents under the Christmas tree, the big Thanksgiving dinner, it used to be with family. And then it's like when these holidays roll around, you got yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You just got yourself. It's like this weird feeling that just washes over you knowing you're alone in it. And it's like, it was a horrible feeling, and you don't want to feel that way. I mean, no amount of drug can fix that feeling.
Yeah.
If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about.
I was
It's
just
like
gonna
this-
say the drugs.
It's like no matter how much.
No drug can fix that feeling, but we're sure gonna try and
Yeah, of
make
course.
sure those
We
drugs
are.
fix that feeling.
100% we will.
Yeah.
And that's such a lie that you tell yourself.
Oh yeah, really, it very much is.
Do you have a dream job, Wes? Like, what if you could do anything? What would you want to do?
Oh, that's a great question. Growing up, believe it or not, I always wanted to be in law enforcement, and I mean not like a. Yeah, it's a type of police officer. I wanted to be a game warden. I work for the DEC, Department of Environmental Conservation.
wow.
That was always, I love wildlife, I love fishing, I love hunting, all that. That's what I did growing up. That's what my family did, and that always appealed to me. But yet again, now because of my record and my drug use, even if they see one possession charge on my record, they're gonna throw it out the window. They would laugh, and but I've had multiple jobs working in the construction field. I like construction.
Yeah.
I like working hands on. Anything hard work, I like to do.
Yeah.
You're a physical.
I
worker.
can't sit at a desk all day. Definitely not. Yeah, no. Anything hands on.
Gotta be moving around and stuff.
Yeah, and right now it's not like I wouldn't say I even have a dream job right now. I just want a decent job.
Right.
You know what I mean?
right.
Something I can survive on in New York.
But I think it's good to have a goal. I think it's good to have that long term. Someday this is what I really want. You know, and even if you're working towards other things, if you have that on the horizon, something else
definitely.
to focus on too.
Yeah, no, maybe owning my own construction company, that would be awesome. You know, they make great money nowadays. And that would be something right up my alley.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I have a good feeling for you, Wes.
Yeah, no, me too. Me too. The way things have been going, it's funny because all the other times around this time, this is around. I usually get like around a year at the most, and I go out and I relapse. And right now, I'm at that same point I was recovery time when I was in Hope House. I got that funny feeling and wanted to go out and be reckless. So
what are we gonna do? We're gonna
I'm going
substitute
to take you
something.
home with me.
Yeah, we got to add something onto that.
I got to add
defense
some
barrier.
meetings. Yeah, I got to at least
whatever
twice
it
a
is.
week. I got to start going to some meetings.
Something, dude.
You check in with us?
Yeah, I need to get a sponsor again. Maybe work the steps.
Whatever.
Something just to get
It doesn't
my
even have
mind
to be
off
AA
of...
stuff. I'm not saying don't do AA. I think that's great too. But like whatever it is, whether you're going, I don't know. The Y, I don't know. They got a gym or something. It's like I don't know. You know, like something. I
You
don't
have
know.
a computer?
No, but we got the smartphones.
Okay, so you can go to meetings online.
Yeah. I can video chat the meetings. That's a great idea.
That's a good start.
Dopey.
Yeah, no, that would be definitely a great start. There's something about being in the rooms, though.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Totally. It's like this. I don't know. The Zoom meetings were great, and I used to do them during COVID. I actually did a lot of them. That's how I did my doctor's appointments as well. There was no one going out doing anything. And a lot of people prefer the Zoom meetings nowadays, but me, I don't know why. I know, even though it's hard for me to get around, I'd have to take the bus and go to them, and whatever. I like being in the rooms, hearing the stories. I like being hands-on with
There's
the
that
people.
connectedness, and then you're able to talk to people afterwards. There's the social aspect of it. There's
Free
like
coffee,
that. You're
cookies.
just in your own kind. Yeah, free coffee, free cookies. Yeah. But there's something something to it,
No,
like
yeah,
being
there
with
is.
your people and being with
Yeah.
your own
Yeah.
kind and in that environment and
Yeah,
just
you
the
don't
whole
feel
vibe
alone.
of it all. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yep. I mean, even if you're like, if you listen to this and you're an addict, and even if you're using, go to a meeting. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be sober to go
Right.
to a meeting. You can be high as hell. You can be drunk.
Yeah,
You
just the
go to
desire
meeting.
to stop using. That's all that's
Yep.
required.
Go to the meeting.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
It'll definitely
There's-
save your life.
Something about being with other people that are in your shoes.
Oh yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, like this beautiful young woman sitting
Yeah.
next to you.
Yeah,
Who,
no,
you guys support each other.
Yeah,
and-
we do. And,
Yeah.
you know, we were in the worst of the worst together. And, yeah, now we kind of working our way out of it. Very slowly but surely. We
Yeah.
are, you know?
But as long as you're moving forward, that's all that matters.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter
no.
how fast you're going, you know?
Yeah. The only problem is I kind of feel like I'm at a standstill. You know, I was moving forward. Now it's like kind of
What about this feels like a standstill? Is that it's just like you've been
the
doing
work.
this, the repetitiveness
yeah,
of it? Yeah.
that
The grind.
and it's you know, just working for no money.
Right.
It's like it's dude, it sucks.
I know.
It's horrible. I mean, I'd say probably 90% of Americans work for no money nowadays. You know,
yeah.
unless you have money, there's no more middle class.
Yeah.
It's either you're poor or you got money, and it's like, you know, you got to have a decent job to survive, and it's hard to find a decent job nowadays.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
that's the only thing that's really been stressing me out. I just gotta find better work, and I
Yeah.
gotta I gotta start making some more money. If that was the case, you know, I know people say money is a trigger too, but you know, right now, even
Yeah, but it's
the
not like
money I'm
you're.
making.
It's not like you're like I want a better job so that I can have more money and I can
No,
buy
it's just 'cause I
material
want to be
things. It's like,
stable.
yeah,
You
it's like I just
wanna
want to
live.
I just want a home. You
Yeah,
know? Like,
exactly.
It's not,
The
you're not
basics.
you're not like shooting for the moon there.
Yep.
You're just
Yeah.
yeah.
But don't forget what I mentioned before the show.
yeah, definitely.
I gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
But,
100%.
I think so. What advice would you again?
Yeah, you want to
give-
leave anybody with something?
Yeah.
Because we're about
somebody
to
who's
wrap up here.
struggling.
For someone that's struggling, yeah, just you got to reach out. You got to, even if you know, you're fine with getting high every day, you're fine with living that life. No, you're not. You're not going to be okay. One day you're going to get a bad batch. One day you're going to get something that's going to kill you, and you're going to wish that you reached out for help. So, you know, take the time and opportunity to look for some help. It's all over the place. We are going through such a crisis with the fentanyl right now. You can ask anyone in any hospital, any recovery center, any detox center, anything. Even reach out to Kurt, reach out to Allison. They will help you. They will guide you in the right direction. You just got to you know, you
gotta
got to
want
do
it.
it. You got to want it. You got to do it. You know, so if you're in that position, just reach out for help. You know, and that's really all I can say, because if you don't want it, you're not going to do it.
That's great advice.
You got to want it.
Wes.
You gotta want it on your own.
Yep, you got to want to do it.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations and
Well,
keep
thank you.
going, and
Yeah.
please stay in touch with us.
I
and,
definitely will.
Super stoked you came on and
Yeah,
good to see
it's
you.
awesome.
And, yeah.
I love coming
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, you
Thank
look
you.
good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Wes,
Thank you.
for being our guest today. And I sincerely thank everyone who supports our cause and understands how important it is to look out for each other and to empathize with anyone you know dealing with addiction. Let's continue to spread awareness about the dangers of illicit fentanyl and promote harm reduction tools like Narcan and fentanyl test strips. Reach out to us via Instagram at sbu.playitforward for more recommendations. Join our club on campus. And check out hopehouseministries.org.
If you're struggling with mental health or substance use, you're not alone. SAMHSA offers services and resources for substance use disorder. You can contact them at 1-800-662-HELP or text HELP for you for support. SAMHSA also has a 24/7 info service at 1-800-487-4889. For additional help, visit Hope House Ministries online at hhm.org. or call 631-928-2377. Also, LICAD, the Long Island Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependence, offers support and guidance at 631-979-1700, and you can find more information at licad.org. Remember, your journey to healing and recovery can start with the first call. LICAD also distributes fentanyl test strips as part of their free Narcan kits. Please have Narcan accessible. You can save the life of someone overdosing even when it's least expected. Check out beyondtheopioidcrisis.com to see some strategies for hope amidst the opioid and fentanyl crisis. And on behalf of the Play It Forward Project, thank you for listening. We invite you to join us on Instagram at sbu.playitforward and YouTube at the Play It Forward Project. And we would love to hear from you. We'd really love to hear from you on Instagram at sbu.playitforward.
Yeah, follow
Please,
us.
give us a follow. Shoot us a message. Let us know what you think of our show, of our guests, if you want to hear somebody on here. And we hope that our message reaches somebody. So for now and always,
keep
playing it forward.
All right, that was a good one. Thanks again, Wes, and
Yeah,
thank
of
you,
course.
Kurt. This is Allison of the Play It Forward Project. Tune into our next show in 2 weeks on November 1st at 1 p.m. as we will be interviewing Jeff Brett of King Quality. He's also a friend of mine from high school, so stay tuned. Again, thank you, WUSB, Wizzy, my co-host Kurt, and of course, Wes and Jen.
And I also want to just give a shout out for the Michael Center Run
Yeah.
for Hope on Sunday, October 20th. That's this Sunday. It's a 5K run or walk to help fight to end addiction. Starting at 9 a.m., we will be there with a table at 7 a.m. Please give some support.
Thanks, Kurt. And we have a nice closing song, Everybody Needs Time. So our closing song is Time in a Bottle by Jim Croce. You are listening to WUSB Stony Brook, 90.1 and 107.3 FM. Be well, everyone, and please look out for one another. Thanks, everyone.